And we are live. What's going on, everybody? This is Rob, the Warrior Strategist, coming at you from San Diego. Hopefully you're having a great Monday. I just woke up about 2 hours ago and got my coffee in my Avengers mug, and I wanted to start off the week powerfully by teaching you guys 4 ways that you can specifically become famous in your industry. I've been doing this for 4 years, and it's not always the most intuitive thing, especially for working professionals. And I'll explain what I mean here in a second. Yesterday I had a great day. Just went to the park and read business books and just got a little bit more clear as to what I'm doing and what I need to do. As far as my own business, and I really thought about ways that I could help you guys. One of the things that I feel like busy professionals don't have time to do is to really expand their network, because they're focused on either servicing current clients or just, day-to-day operations, but they don't really think about, okay, how do I expand my actual presence, especially online, so that more people are possibly attracted so I can, get more clients and make more sales. And so today I'm going to give you a couple tips, a couple things to think about, some of the tactics that I use in order to help my clients. None of this is like super hard to do either. It's basic stuff that will give you more eyes on whatever it is that you do. And I really feel like professionals need this information because they're the ones that already have their foundation set up. They're already doing pretty well, but the tipping point comes from becoming business famous, from becoming the go-to in your industry. It's not that hard to make sales if everybody knows who you are, if you have market domination, if you are the absolute person that people go to for your industry. And this is doable without spending tens of thousands of dollars on advertising, believe it or not. Everything I've ever done has been completely organic. I've never spent one penny in marketing or advertising, and I have 150 interviews under my belt. I've been featured on TV, magazines. I've been interviewed by influencers. I've got just a bunch of stuff. And it was just creating these basic visibility strategies that helped me to get in front of more people. Samuel, what's going on, man? Good to see you. So without further ado, as always, I'm going to give a shout out to Shift, Advanced Life Design Magazine, free to read, which is what brings you this great video content. Shift is my business magazine, my baby, my project, the love of my life. Free to read. Check it out. And let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into some tactics. We already have Abigail Sinclair from Human Network Connection popping on. What's going on, Abby? Good to see you. Abby has a giant database of incredible media owners and platforms. So let's just jump into it. A person comes to me and they say, "Hey Rob, I've got a business. I'm doing some sales. I just don't have any presence on the internet. My Google search isn't really popping, and I don't feel like I'm visible enough to attract new clients and get more sales." And I'll say, "Okay. First thing I'm going to do is Google them to see what pops up. I'm going to look at their social media, and then I'm going to really look at their messaging." Because there are certain components. Think about it like a recipe, guys. Every one of you has a visibility potential, but if your messaging is off, if your graphics suck, if you never tell people what it is that you do, it's these little things. People aren't going to know to refer you. They aren't going to see you as a qualified expert. So all these things come into play. Your messaging, your positioning, promoting other people, all this stuff. So let's start with the big 4. Number 1 is industry-specific media. And in my earlier training last week, I was talking about different ways that you can find this. Industry-specific media just means, okay, if you're a lawyer, have you appeared in lawyer magazines? Have you appeared in, have you spoken at law schools, in law schools? Have you done things that are affiliated with lawyer organizations? Have you written on giant blogs in the law profession? This is how you distinguish yourself as just another ham and egger lawyer versus someone that is revered, endorsed, familiar. And then the beauty of it is once you start landing industry-specific media, other people start promoting you because they see you in repetition and they're like, oh, I'm going to hire you because I saw you, on this blog, or I saw you interviewed on TV, or I saw you on the morning news, whatever. Industry-specific media is relatable to almost everyone. And if you're in something that is not like super specific, like real estate's easy. I can place somebody in real estate journals, podcasts, magazines, whatever, pretty fast. Same with like finance, law, exercise, fitness. These are all pretty big industries, and there's a lot of media out there. But industry-specific media also, you can go super specific, or you can actually go general, okay? I mean, I'm just as happy to be interviewed by somebody that just interviews entrepreneurs or business owners or, veterans, and that's where you get very, very general, but you can go also specific if you're in a particular industry. The big ones are insurance, real estate, finance, any of that stuff. So industry-specific media is one way. And start thinking about that. Start thinking about, okay, I'm in this industry, industry Y. Where do I find industry Y as far as their media? What organizations support industry Y? And how can I land an interview? And oftentimes, all it takes is just reaching out to whoever owns the platform, just saying, hey, I want to guest write an article. I want to offer an interview for your audience. Would you guys be interested? Here are my qualifications. This is what I'll talk about. Okay? This is what I do for my clients. It's not rocket science. All it is usually is one email. I get a response. I'm a little funny in the email, and then that's it. They're like, yeah, we're going to interview your client, or we're going to give them a speaking gig, or whatever. Hey, Melinda, what's going on? Good to see you. All right. Number 2, know what problem you solve, and then create content. Now, this is a big one in the messaging side, is you have to be able to identify and isolate what problem you're going to solve for people when they hire you. For me, I solved the problem of low sales, low visibility, no one knows what my business does. Okay? People that work with me, I look at how they're presenting themselves, I look at their photos, I look at their Facebook to see if it's optimized for sales and for trust from industry. And what you have to do, I have to know right away, and I can tell within about 30 seconds, if I can tell right away if I can figure out what problem you solve. And if you're not telling your audience what problem that is, if you haven't isolated it and written about the pain points, you're missing out, okay? So whenever you're doing videos, whenever you're doing content, Facebook posts, Instagram, LinkedIn articles, your email list, whatever, whoever it is you're communicating with that loves your content and your stuff, you have to be able to eloquently describe in great, painful, emotional detail what problem you're solving. And for me, right away, it's business visibility, okay? Getting out to more audience members organically, creating fun content. Right now, I'm solving a problem of people that want more business visibility and want to be more famous in their industry just by doing this video, right? This is what I show my clients how to do. Talk about the problem, isolate it, create content around it, and then talk about what you do in order to mitigate that problem, and then that's when case studies and testimonials come in. Oh, okay, Jerry's Plumbing hired me, and then they weren't doing very good social media, and a lot of people didn't know who they were. So we created the social media, campaign. We started doing Facebook Live videos on the job when they're fixing stuff. And then they created a really cool email campaign about the top 5 plumbing problems you can fix yourself without calling a plumber. This, in turn, made them very visible, was shared a lot. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now, this doesn't exist. Obviously, I'm not going to work for Jerry's Plumbing because 5-Star Plumbing in San Diego is my go-to. Jerry's Plumbing is fictional, but you get the drift. So know what problem you solve and then create content around it. Number 3, educate. And this is where a lot of people miss the target because they don't become educators in their industry. I create like 3 teaching videos a week. I have a YouTube, a blog, I write articles on LinkedIn. I'm always educating about ways that people can attract more clients and customers organically without Facebook ads, without a marketing budget, any of that stuff, just by being a little bit more clever. So educate in all different ways. And here's what's interesting, because a lot of people, I have this conversation quite a bit, and they say, well, I don't think anyone would watch that or anyone would be interested. You would be surprised at how the mundane parts of your day, the stuff that you teach, is actually very interesting to other people. Odds are, if you're creating content and you're teaching somebody something that has no knowledge about it, they're going to tune in and they're going to be fascinated. Going behind the scenes, pulling aside the curtain, and telling people how you do certain stuff is really interesting, okay? Education can fall under several categories, but you need to teach people that you are the master instructor, the expert, the industry leader, just by talking about the process. And there's a lot of things you can make content on that go overlooked that people will search out and find fascinating. If you've done something and you've been very successful at it, you should talk about like the 4 things you did that made that successful. Nick Valentine is the owner of Operation Phantom Support. It's a great nonprofit, and he can talk about how he set up his merchandising line. The stuff behind the scenes, how he linked up with vendors, how he linked up with military bases in order to support troops, okay? Sometimes the stuff behind the scenes is a lot more interesting than the stuff that's just right there out in the open. I have a magazine, and believe it or not, I get a lot of views and a lot of questions about the technicals. Somebody emailed me today and just said, hey, Rob, what's the process for putting a magazine together? And I actually just gave her the secret sauce for free because honestly, I don't want to teach somebody that as a client. It's a pain in the butt. So I was just like, all right, you have a content production site and then you have a hosting site. Boom. But the point is, that's behind the curtain, right? Sometimes the creation of our processes is great content for education. And a lot of people, this escapes them when they're creating their education plan. Like on the surface, Abby has the human network directory, right? Human network connection directory. And it's full of like media owners and people that want to be guests on media platforms and interviews and stuff. I work very, very closely with Abby. We help each other out. But sometimes the story behind the company makes a fascinating educational post, okay? How do you create a directory? What hosting sites did you use? What are the technicals behind it? How does someone create a freaking CRM system for managing all the media, right? A lot of times people want to know the processes. And that is also how you can educate. You don't just have to educate in your primary specialty. I can teach visibility growth tactics all day long, and it is kind of fun. But a lot of times, you can just talk about like how I did this or how I did that or the actual websites involved, the resources. People really like that stuff. And if you're a hardcore, like let's say you're a real estate agent or a lawyer, You can talk about how you set up your practices, how you set up your onboarding. Some people have no idea how to get warm leads. And if you're a lawyer, okay, and the number one lawyer that I always think of, because I see his name everywhere, is King Amanpour. That's why I tagged him. King Amanpour. Okay, what's your onboarding process? If you made a post like that or a video, explaining how you attract all these leads, that would be very valuable to a lot of people, including other lawyers. And it'd be a great educational platform in order to position yourself, as an industry leader, which he is. I see him on, bus billboards and walls and pretty much freaking everywhere. I've actually been at an event with King. He's a great guy, does a lot for the community. He's very, very respected. But seeing that kind of stuff about how he set up his processes, how he picks up, how he like decorated his law office. If you've seen pictures of it, it looks palatial. He looks like royalty. That would be interesting. Sometimes if you don't feel like you're the most creative person on earth and you have trouble thinking of topics, like I said, educate on a process. Pop it on YouTube and you'll get subscribers. Once in a while, I do go into how I created a magazine or how I wrote 8 books or, how I schedule out, how to create a great schedule for productivity and then a content creation schedule for the week, right? These are all processes. So number 3 is educate. And when you educate and when you're super visible and you're around all the time, people eventually are going to turn to you when you're defining that problem solve from tactic 2. Okay? If people see you on videos every single day teaching your industry and talking about the problem that you solve, maybe you throw in a case study, maybe something you did for a client, you're going to get a lot more people subconsciously gravitating. Because the number one thing you want to be known as is the go-to. And some people have handled this, and some people have gotten so far into the spotlight that onboarding is a joke for them. There have been times when I've gone for a run and I've had 11 messages in my inbox within an hour, right? My visibility comes and goes. It's always been a roller coaster. I feel like I'm right on the precipice of being like legit influencer famous. And sometimes I get really close and sometimes I'm a little further away. But the point is, always be educating, always be letting people know what you do, give them consistent value, create fun content. I mean, it's just these small things. Because once you become the go-to, once you're the person that everybody recommends, you've made it. If I think about, okay, taxes, Brandon Cox, boom. IT, Daniel Curry. SEO, Patrick Burt. Why? Because these guys are always creating content. They're wildly good at what they do. Okay? Software systems, Jacqueline Paxton. Corporate finance strategy, Caitlin Sheridan. And this is who I want to be for visibility and growth. And honestly, I feel like I'm super close. I get a lot of recommendations. A lot of people say nice things about me, which is great. But even I have to really work at it and be like, okay, how can I be more consistent? How can I create more value for clients? All this stuff. All right. Sorry, Jared. You'll just have to come back for the replay, man. And Steven says consistent value is key. Steven, I love you to death, man. I hope you're having a great day. Me and Steven got in a call after we hadn't talked for a few years. His life had totally changed for the better. I'm pretty sure mine had too, but it was good. You ever get in a call and you're just laughing the entire time? That's just feeding off each other's vibe. That was awesome. We got Ginger and David. All right. And then the last point, and I'll summarize for people that are just popping in. The last point is number 4, be interesting. This one's big, guys. And I had to work on this myself. I'm a very dull person, believe it or not. At my core, I don't have any cool piercings. I don't have purple hair. I can't do any of the Instagram influencer stuff. I'm 43. I never want to look like that guy that's like clinging to his youth in sequin dragon, jeans, Bad Religion jeans, True Religion, with stretched ears or any of that shit. I'm not that guy. I'm pretty dull. And so there are ways you can soup up your content. You can be interesting through voice inflection, movement in your video, the background of your video, use of titles, color. There's a lot of things. But the point is, when you're making content, be interesting. I see a lot of people that do Facebook videos and that are just, don't understand that your Facebook Lives, people will tune in if it's interesting content, if it's cutting edge, if it's teaching something fun, if you have a fun vocal style, okay? But if you're super monotone like Ben Stein, or you just don't have anything like really interesting to say, or you're looking away from the camera, or you're just kind of vegging out, people are going to tune you out. They're not going to check out your stuff, okay? And your background is very important. If your background looks like a hostage video with poor lighting and nothing going on, or it's just like a blank wall, you've got to upgrade it. You've got to do something different, okay? I've changed my background 3 different times, depending on the positioning of my apartment and just how I want to present. And I feel like this is the most fun one. But really look at your content. Look at the way that you're speaking. Look at the way you're presenting information, right? And mix it up a bit. Jared, I'm glad Jared's here because Jared's been doing skateboarding videos, which is great. I'm a skateboarder as well, and I always tune in because they're interesting. Just Jared jumping back on a board and just doing some stuff, or a still picture or whatever, that's interesting content to me, all right? So number 4 is be interesting. Don't produce boring content. Have something for people that are tuning in. Maybe you have an email freebie, or maybe you have an offer, something. Maybe you dress up really nice, like bright colors, like Lori McNeil, whatever. And ask people what their opinion is. Say, hey, what do you like about my videos? What do you feel like I could do better? You always want to be upgrading. If you want to be truly famous in your industry, you need to be upgrading numerous times. Okay? And there's a lot of ways you can upgrade, especially with the quality of your video. Buy a high-def camera. Buy an external mic for better sound composition. Get some titles made. One of the biggest upgrades I ever did was I worked with Justin Cizerlik. And if you want to know how to make your videos pop, I would strongly suggest you reach out to him. He's got these great media packages where he teaches you exactly how to add titles, how to add the scroll, how to fix your lighting. His rates are really good. He's a veteran. He's very honest. And it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to completely upgrade your videos. If you want higher quality videos that really pop, reach out to Justin. This was the biggest upgrade I ever did. Okay, because my videos have, evolved over the years, and right now this is my favorite format I've ever had, and it didn't cost very much. I bought a Logitech Brio from Amazon. It's like $150, and I bought an external mic for like $30, and it greatly increased the sound quality because the microphones and webcams are garbage. They sound scratchy. They're not clear. And also the Zoom call quality video is even better. So just things to think about. And Jared says, what's your take on the no editing concept for videos, the idea of being raw and real? Jared, those have a purpose for sure. If I go out to the park or I'm shooting a Facebook Live somewhere at the beach or something, there's something to be said for just documenting the adventure. Not everything has to be like a professional quality video with titles and colors and pop-up graphics and, all this different stuff. Just depends on what your strategy is. But I'll tell you, it doesn't hurt to make 1 or 2 high-quality videos per week, and maybe you mix it up. Maybe that's something I should try, is make a really high-quality production video with like front end graphics, rear end graphics, like pop-ups, all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Just something to think about. You know who does really good videos is Jessica Yarbrough. All right. So we're getting close to the end. I just want to do a summary real quick, and I want to thank everybody that popped in and asked questions. This is a great Monday. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to be creating content all day, some client work, but I'm going to be really honest with you guys. Like, it's not as hard as you think to become business famous. Just make sure that people know what you do. Okay? So, Rob's summary real quick. Industry-specific media. Know what problem you solve and create content around it. Educate regularly and across multiple platforms. And be interesting. Those 4 things will help you in your goal to be the go-to for your industry. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here. Hit me up over Messenger. Hope you guys have a great day. And that is about it. This is Rob the Warrior Strategist signing off from San Diego. Have yourself a great day, guys. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon.